Bonjour. Welcome to another episode of Radio New Manchester. Today is January the 12th, 2026, and it's 8:02 a.m. local time. I'm in Liberty City, Texas, and I'm about to do this radio podcast at my home. Okay, where do I begin? Okay, you saw that title, and it's titled Parents Stunning the Growth of Their Children. Okay, this is going to be hard to make, so I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a shot, and I hope I don't have any memory issues. Okay, it's like this. Okay, when a child is born, and it doesn't matter if they're born with a disability or not. Okay, I think at a certain age, or it's like this, when a child grows up, goes through kindergarten, elementary school, junior high, and high school. After he and she pass through all of this, and they graduate from high school, somewhere down the line, the parents stunt their child's growth by not teaching them anything. Not teaching them finances, how to use a checkbook, managing a bank account, paying bills. They decide not to teach their child that and just do everything for them. And just basically treating them like a child all the way through, all through their adulthood. And believe it or not, you have aging parents in their 90s, treating their 50-something-year-old son or daughter like a child, telling them to behave, telling them to write out a grocery list, basically treating them like a child, and it's very harmful to their mental health and their well-being. And on top of that, they will gaslight them through propaganda of the United States being the freest country in the world, and people from other countries are coming to America to escape violence and poverty and live better in the so-called American dream. This is even worse on somebody with a disability. And let me tell you something. Do you think it's kind of weird seeing 90-year-old parents, a mother and a father in their 90s, treating their child like their 50-year-old son or daughter like a child, or even if they're 60, 70, or whatnot? Well, I think they're gonna be dead if they. I think the parents are gonna be dead when the child reaches like 70 years old. Treating them like a child, never teaching them anything. It's like they're a teenager forever. Treating them like a teenager forever, like treating them like a child or a teenager for eternity. They were never taught to navigate the world or have skills to navigate through the world. Life skills, social skills, nothing. They're just basically nothing. They're just basically handicapping them. And the lies and gaslighting it's just disgusting. Very, very disgusting. They'll lie to the adult child, telling them, you're doing a good job raking leaves, and the parents will lie to the child and say that they're doing a good job raking leaves, but that parent is complaining about how they're doing it and saying that they're not doing it right, and just pulling them out of different jobs, just yanking them left and right. Okay, the child goes out and helps the aging mom and dad rake leaves. Let's just say that the child is in his or her 40s, and the parents are in their late 70s and early to mid 80s. So the adult child goes out and helps the parents rake leaves. You got a father, just standing there watching the child do the job, just standing there briefly or longer. Then he goes back to raking leaves. Then he goes and does it again. Just stands there and watches the child, and stops the child and points out that the child wasn't raking the leaves, or the adult child wasn't raking the leaves right, by not getting leaves from behind some bushes. Which is in the area at the front of the house, the parent's house. Then the parent doesn't want the child to burn a pile of leaves after all the leaves are all raked up into a pile, and don't want the child to burn the leaves because they're afraid that the child is incapable of setting the leaves on fire and might have the fire spread to everywhere and start a wildfire. And just tells the child to bring a bucket of water after the parent sets the pile of leaves on fire with a box of matches. Then after that, the father, tells the disabled child or non-disabled child to go and help his or her mother rake leaves on the other side of the front yard. Well, they're all raking leaves in the front of in the front yard of the house. Okay, the the disabled or non-disabled son or daughter goes and rake leaves to help out the mother rake leaves on the other part of the front yard. The father sees this and complains that, oh, you can't rake leaves that way, because if you rake leaves that way, you will be working even more harder. Basically, criticizing the child's way of raking the leaves, and the child is just doing his job, doing his or her job, and him and her are doing the way that it's supposed to be done, raking leaves, just rake up leaves. And all of a sudden, okay, the disabled child or non-disabled child barely barely rakes leaves, just basically raking leaves briefly, or not that long. And the father goes and stops the child and tells the child to go watch the pile of leaves burn, and the father will take over where the child left off. And when the father stops the child from raking leaves and tells him or her to go and watch a pile of leaves burn, the child says this, or the adult child says this: I'm not doing a good job, right? The father laughs. The father laughs and says this: yeah, you're doing a good job. But wait, if that child is doing a good job, then why are you complaining about how he was raking the leaves? Doesn't make any sense. And this is very abusive from parents who stuns the growth of their child, not letting them reach their full potential, not letting them grow as responsible adults. As an adult, as an adult, you have the choice. Well, I'm gonna say this: as an adult, you make your own. I'm gonna, I'm gonna say this. Okay, let me start over again. As an adult, you make your own decisions on what you want to do in your life, where you want to move to, what you want to do, the, what you want to say, what you don't want to say, what you want to keep private, what you want to keep private, what you don't want to keep private. And as an adult, it's none of your business what other adults are doing. You got to respect their privacy, you got to respect their space. And yeah, and and well, and there's just something I don't like about. Well, I respect that, but there's this is something that I don't like, and I'm going to speak on this. And this is a problem here in the U.S. and in Canada. People, yeah, people keep to themselves. People don't talk to each other. Everybody is socially isolated from one another. Everybody socially, well, basically there's a lack of social. There's a lack of social or human connection. Everybody is segregated, isolated, paranoid, and fake. People want to be left alone in their own bubbles. And oh, I didn't come to this job to make friends. I came to this job to work. And leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I want to keep to myself. I want to mind my own business, and you should mind your own business. And that's like social isolation. That and social isolation, it is a problem here in the U.S. and also in Canada. It's like I'm smoking a big pack of 50 cigarettes a day, and it's bad for your health. And experiencing this for a very long time leads to cognitive decline, cognitive issues. And when you get older, when you become old, you'll get dementia or full-blown Alzheimer's disease. Social isolation slash loneliness, that's the effects of that. And yeah. But going back to parents, some parents stunning the growth of their children, not letting them grow, not letting them become full-fledged, productive members of society, independent thinking adults. They don't want them to be that way. They want them to be children for the rest of their lives. And you got parents, yeah, parents who are like this are are prone to being stubborn. They don't want to. They're being stubborn. They want everything to be the same. They want the child to be the way they are. And it's even worse when it's done to a child when it's done to a child with a disability. And going back to the propaganda, parents spewing propaganda to a child and telling a child, "Oh, if you leave the U.S. and move to a foreign country, you're gonna suffer, and you're not gonna last long, and it takes $10,000 to move abroad, and you're not gonna get a job in those foreign countries because you have a 12th grade education." Well, if you have a 12th grade education, you can go back to college or trade school and get an education. But that parent doesn't care. That parent just keeps talking and talking and talking, spewing propaganda and bullshit about the United States being the only country that has a lot of freedom, and people from other countries are coming to America for freedom. And I'm against that American thinking, because not all people from foreign countries are not all flocking to America. Some are going to other countries. America isn't the only country that people are going to for a better life. But that's what, I guess that's what some Americans in Hollywood, Hollywood want you to think. They want you to think that America is somehow the greatest, the most prosperous nation in the world, with that oozes so much freedom. Yeah, a country with a bureaucratic, pay-to-play, fragmented healthcare system that leaves people in medical bankruptcies, denying people care and letting people be uninsured or underinsured. Cause let's keep in mind, the United States has segments of the population that lacks health insurance. Premiums are shooting. Premiums are very high. The healthcare cost is just never ending, increasing all the time. Look at what ICE is doing to people in America. President Donald Trump issued an immigration reform that he started with his administration last year that led to the death of a woman in Minnesota. You get up and go to work every day to make a living, and you listen to a boss tells you what to do. How is that freedom? That's not freedom. And all in all, that parent is just lying to that child / disabled child whose growth was stunned by them. They stunt their growth and fill their heads up with lies and propaganda about the United States and other countries. And I'm here to tell you this. It is just flat out wrong. I repeat, flat out wrong for a parent or an aging parent to stun the growth of their child, not letting them reach their full potential, refusing to educate them on finances, learning how to use a checkbook, managing a bank account, letting their minds grow to be independent thinking adults and think for themselves and learn how to respect other people and their privacy. Because what that parent is doing, it just basically is a sign of abuse. As a matter of fact, it's not a sign of abuse. It's full on abuse. It's abuse. Plain and simple. And it's wrong. I know this video isn't going to go anywhere, or this podcast isn't going to go anywhere, but I'm just going to speak my mind on this. And I don't care about if this video gets any likes or dislikes, or no dislikes or likes. I don't care. I guess I'm used to seeing all those zeros. It's just basically the YouTube algorithm that is suppressing content like this. And I have someone who watches the videos on his channel telling me in the comments on one of my videos, telling me that they did a video about what happened to the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. Yeah, they made a video about what happened to the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, and they said that they weren't praising what Mangione did. They wasn't praising the shooter, the guy that killed Brian Thompson. They weren't trying to praise them, but YouTube, they weren't trying to praise them, but YouTube censored that person. I'm not going to say their name. And I did a video like that, and I was censored too. I got a community guideline strike. Yeah, the video is still up on my channel, but it was taken off or taken away from the public. And I think videos like that should be left up. It just shows that just how soft that YouTube and how people are nowadays. But I'm not going to get into that. Okay. The parents stunning the growth, how you say stunt or suppressing. I'm gonna say suppressing the growth of a child if they're disabled or not or non-disabled, because they're holding the child back, not teaching the child the things that they need to know, that they need to learn. They're just holding them down and treating them like a child. And oh yeah, going back to this. Okay, the child wants to move to another country, even though that they are disabled or not. Telling them that they should live in the United States of America and stating that the United States is the land of milk and honey, and you're gonna stay here until the day you die. Well, mom and dad can't tell that child that. It's up to that child if they want to live in another country or not. You know, in America, it's kind of weird to me. In America, they tell you that you have so much freedom. You can do whatever you want, but moving to another country isn't one of those freedoms. An American who wants to move to another country is un-American, and it is an insult. Well, yeah, I mean, you have the right to move to any other country that you want. You have that right. You can do whatever you want. That mom and dad can't tell you where you can move to or not. They can't tell you that, oh, you can't move to this country. That country is bad. America's great. That's wrong. It's kind of weird to me that Americans and stubborn, abusive, aging parents or parents that hold their children down and don't want them to learn anything. I ain't saying that all parents are like this. Just some of them who are like this, who hold their children down by not letting them grow and not letting themselves and their minds grow and letting them become independent thinking adults that think for themselves. If you're disabled, special needs, or you're not, and you're being held down by your parents and they're stunning your growth and they won't let you grow, basically they're sheltering you. That's what this is. Parents are sheltering their children for the rest of their lives and not letting them go out and become independent adults. And if you're going through that, this is what you need to do. Have a plan. Go and get a job. Work. Save some money. Plan on where you want to live. If you want to move to another country, you can do that. Just make plans. Have a plan for that. Yeah, get a job, work, save your money, and just plan on where you want to live. I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. I don't know anything about that, but you can get into that if you want. But not everybody can do this. Some people can do it, some people can't do it. Because the people who can't do that, who can't be an entrepreneur, it's not in the, well, I ain't gonna say it's not in the cards for them, but it's just something that they just can't do. Not everybody can be entrepreneurs. I guess if you can be a school teacher if you want to, I guess that can help. Yeah, go online and learn things like finances, like using a checkbook or doing finances, managing a bank account, paying bills, doing your own laundry, washing your clothes, cleaning your house, taking out the trash, cutting the grass around your own home, cleaning up your own home. You can, yeah, all this can help you. You can do this. You can be independent from mom and dad. And you don't have to argue with mom and dad because of their views on you and them holding you down and holding you back and not letting you reach your full potential of becoming an independent adult. You don't have to sit and listen to what they say. You have to take what they give you. But there's a saying, there's a will, there's a way. And someone said this: you deserve to be treated better than this. I went through hell and I made it. And there's a saying, there's a will, there's a way. There's a way you can break away from your parents and live an independent life. You can live an independent life regardless if you're disabled or not. If you're held down by your parents for so long, or they're starting to hold you down after you graduate from high school. You can break away from them. You can do this. You don't need to take what they give you. Don't listen to the gaslighting. Don't listen to the propaganda about America and other countries. Don't listen to that mumble jumble. It's all garbage. It's harmful, and your parents are holding you down and sheltering you for as long as they live. That's abuse right there, and that's just wrong. If I was a parent, I would never ever do anything like that to my children. Like, hold them down, shelter them, and treat them like a child if they're adults. I'm going to let my children make their own decisions on what they want to do with their lives. Because what they want to what they do with their lives is up to them. It's not up to me. Just like it's not up to parents deciding what their children should do and what they shouldn't do as an adults. If they want to live in another country, they can do that. If they want to if they want to marry someone of the same sex, they can do that. They can do whatever they want. It's their choice, not yours. And that's a message to parents who want to shelter their children and hold them down regardless if they have a disability or not. Okay, I hope I made some sense in this audio recording podcast. Hope I made some sense into this. Hope I gave you guys something to take home with you and to analyze and talk about. Okay, if I'm not making any sense in this, just let me know. I'm not going to get upset about this. You can make fun of how I talk. Go ahead. I don't really care. And I'm going to stop talking about that. And just talk about what's on my mind. All right. That's the end of that. More videos to come. Thank you for listening. Cheers and au revoir. Merci beaucoup. Take care. Goodbye. Oh yeah, one more thing about the the killing of CEO Brian Thompson at the hands of Luigi Mangione. Yeah, that person who made a video about that, they're not trying to praise the shooter because what the shooter Luigi Mangione did to Brian Thompson was wrong. But it was basically an outrage, and basically that just triggered the outrage and anger over the American healthcare system being this broken, fragmented, pay to play system. And that person who made a video about that and not trying, and they were not trying to, they weren't trying to, they were not trying to praise the shooter. They were condemning the shooter, say that what the shooter did was wrong. But YouTube, which is automated, just took the video down on their channel and gave them a community guideline strike. And I did something like that, and I went through that as well. Got a video taken down when I was talking about Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, and Luigi Mangione. I did a video about that, and YouTube pulled it down and gave me a community guideline strike. Well, actually, they didn't give me a community guideline strike. They just took it down and gave me a warning. So I got to be careful with what I say here on YouTube. And YouTube are suppressing channels with videos or channels in general that speak the truth against the lies and the crap of the United States, the society and all. All right, yeah, and Canada's like this, and probably other countries are like this as well, but I don't know. I don't know about other countries. I'm just going to say the U.S. and Canada because I don't know what goes on in other countries. Okay, just want to clear the light on this. All right, audio recording over.